Great guys, welcome to another launch update video and presentation where we'll be taking all of you with us in the updates that we have been able to make as you are used from us over the past weeks. We have been doing these update webinars, I would say, every 2 weeks, and I'm very glad actually to be here again. Obviously 2 weeks ago I was not able to make it, but our Chief Data Officer and Project Manager Ian Upton has been able to give you guys a very in-depth insight, I would say, in the testing results that we have been able to retrieve from the testing that we have been doing over the course of the last month. So for the day, I would like to ask you all if I am clearly hearable, visible. I think the Q&A box is something that needs to be used. It seems to be that the chat is disabled. But by the looks of it, we have a Q&A box that is actually functioning, which is great to see. General practice for these sessions, at the end of every single update AMA, we actually have the AMA section where you can ask us all your questions. So please, if you have any questions during this general explainer, I would like to ask you if you would be able to keep them here in the Q&A section of this particular Zoom system so we can get into it at the end of the presentation to keep things neat and clean. First of all, a little bit of market commentary on the recent events that we have been seeing all over the board, seeing centralized exchanges going bust, seeing a lot of dark holes appear, I would say, all over the crypto space. And I think that this is another confirmation what we have been screaming so many times, what we have been preaching so many times. We need to have this space moving more towards a regulated environment, an actual asset-backed environment. And that's obviously something that me and the team of Propchain have been creating over the past 2 years. And we're very, very proud and excited to be sharing this with all of you guys in a more public way. Obviously, as you guys know, we have been working tremendously hard and have been testing very effectively, I would say, with the closed user group stage of where we have been able to achieve very decent results. And today we're looking forward to share this next part of those results and of the follow-up journey with all of you so you're fully aware of where we're heading to. So any questions, please park them. I'm looking forward to answer all of those questions at the end of the webinar. So first of all, we are going to take you through the table of content for the day. Obviously, how we like to start these update webinars is by giving you a short summary. Not everyone has probably seen the previous ones, and I'm looking forward to take you into a short summary and a reminder of where we are and why we took this approach, and within this approach, how we are making our progress. First of all, the phase 1 mission control stage, followed after with phase 2, the closed user group launch, phase 3, the priority investor launch, and obviously phase 4, where we are heading towards the waitlist and the community launch, which makes the platform basically accessible for every single one of you to purchase real estate or tokenized real estate in this particular sense. Again, the 3 circles that we have been presenting more often: customer experience, platform quality, and service delivery. Everything that we do is based on audits, based on reviews from both service and users, so we can create an optimized product that is fully tailored to and towards our clients' needs, but also their feedback in order for us to optimize our product on a constant basis. Over the past weeks, we have been really investing heavily, both time and resources-wise when it comes to money, in more data visualization and data collection, so we can make an even a more well-informed decision, I would say, that's based and driven by actual data that we're collecting throughout the company. And it gave us some pretty decent insights. I think from these insights, Ian has already been sharing quite some of them. So if you did not see the previous public AMA yet, then I would suggest that you have a look, because I think it gave some strategic insights in what's actually happening behind the curtains. And obviously today I'm or would be loving to share a little bit more about that particular end. So, just a quick summary. Where are we? A summary of the scale-up phase. This report of today is prepared by our project manager, Ian. So, Ian, thank you for that. Thank you for preparing this extensive report again on providing every single one of our viewers and our community members with a pretty extensive update, I would say, on where we're currently standing. Just to give you a quick summary again, the phase 1 of our launch, the mission control phase, is actually on schedule, but has obviously some final dependency as we have communicated before. Right now, we're looking at the 5th of December in order to complete the final bits and pieces of this particular stage. This means that on the 5th of December, we are looking to receive the final feedback from Hacken, which is doing the audits on our smart contracts or platform smart contracts. Right now, from Zokio, we have been receiving our feedback, which I will share more about with you guys in a bit. We had a decent score there, and obviously the first platform smart contract audits have been returned to us as well, actually pre-due date, which is obviously a comfortable position to be in. Phase 2, the internal test group, and this has been completed successfully 100%. Just as a reminder, what did we do there? We had the test team and the architecture ready, and we had an internal feedback round for the browser app, which was being processed, after which we went into phase 2, which is the closed user group testing phase, which is fully on schedule at this present point in time. We're heading towards the next week now, which I'm going to show you in the timeline further down this presentation, and we can successfully state that T1 and T2 of the testing have been completed. Right now, with the smart contracts being retrieved back from us from Hacken, we are able to deploy our contracts on the testnet next week, do a round of internal testing, after which the actual testing in week 47, named T3 testing, will take place with our closed user group, after which T4 will follow up in week 49. So this is the phase where we're currently residing in, and this is a phase that is going on full schedule actually, which is a really nice position to be in, because this is definitely one of the true and first phases where we are collecting valuable data around not only user experience, but also internally on our departments like support, service, and obviously sales following up in the next few weeks. Phase 3 then is something that is on track right now as well. This is scheduled for week 50. And this is obviously done not only with the closed user group, but also with our investor group, or at least all people that purchased the tokens in one of the rounds. So this is going to be the next follow-up, where we also scale up the platform load. As most of you know, right now we're working with approximately 35 users, 25 external and 10 internal, which gave us a valuable and manageable team of internal and external testers to retrieve the feedback. But obviously we need to scale up this process every stage along the way. So the next one, phase 3, will be the investor group, which is fully on track. Phase 4 then is mainly related to the waitlist participants. As we have shared before, this is a fairly large group of users from that waitlist who will be boarding between 500 and 5,000 users. This is obviously scaling up along the way, and this is going to be an interesting phase because it will be putting more pressure on our internal departments, which we're obviously trying to scale on a similar speed and on a similar pace, I would say, as how we are doing this with our internal tech and platform itself. So in phase 4, we have the infra load plan ready. We have the server scaling and load balancing happening, and we have the browser-based app available for the waitlist, meaning that our whole waitlist will be able to onboard him or herself on the desktop version of the platform in order to purchase digital real estate. And that brings me to the phase 1 launch mission control. It's a quick summary there as well. Just to remind you, the mission control first of the 3 stages. The team, the processes, and the infrastructure have been fully completed successfully, all within time, all on schedule, as how we communicated this to all of you in our first AMA when presenting the overall strategy around our launch. Right now, we're on track for the product. Right now, you can see that just the highlighted elements in white are the 2 points that still needed to be completed. That's the testnet smart contract deployment, something that is on schedule, as I communicated, for next week, and the product testing on testnet, which is the internal testing that will be happening there, which is also fully on schedule. So next week will be an interesting week for us to find out how the deployment on the testnet and actually making use of not only the user experience on a testing environment, but also having the actual contracts being deployed, linked to the backend and so forth, see how that performs. From there, the audits. This is obviously something that is on track, considering the fact that we have received back the audits 2 days prior to the actual due date, which is great. It gave us some head start, I would say, over the weekend. And here we are basically reliant on the final audits of the smart contracts by Hacken, which will be scheduled for the 5th of December, and the connection, wallets, and fund flow to external service providers. So this basically means that from the testing environment, switching ourselves into the live later, we will need to hook ourselves up with all of the service providers, like the custody solution, the payment solutions, and so forth, in order to deploy it into a live environment later. So this is something that is on track, both of them, and that's obviously a great position to be in, because that means that we can really shift and move forward. Key updates on this mission control phase is that we have the Zokio token smart contract audit passed on the 7th of November. What did we do in this audit? Basically 4 main things that were covered here. First of all, the due diligence in assessing the overall code quality of the code base, mainly a quality related check that has been performed. We did cross comparisons with other similar smart contracts by industry leaders. We did the testing of the contract logic against the common and uncommon attack vectors, and we had a thorough manual review of the code base, which is line by line done by Zokio. We have been able to pass this audit with a score of 99 out of 100, which means that our token is now officially audited and is basically ready for use at any given time that we're planning to do so. So those are 2 valuable updates, or the first valuable update, I should say, because right now the Hacken smart contract audit results have already been in our possession as well. They have been reviewed over the weekend, and in the upcoming AMA, we will be sharing more of the results around that. And with our internal user group, we will be sharing these results a bit earlier. So these are the key updates for mission control. Then we go into the phase 2 launch, so the closed user group testing, where I would like to summarize what we have been doing there and how we are currently on schedule from that particular end. The internal testing has been successfully completed. The moderated test, so the first T1 module of the closed user group testing, has been successfully completed. We have been able to retrieve valuable feedback. We have been doing bug fixes already. I will give you a summarized list in a bit of the stuff that we have been able to tick off. The T2 unmoderated test has been successfully completed as well. We have been able to execute a various amount of tasks here. This was actually free testing phase, I would say. This is the phase where people were actually able to use the flows themselves. This was a very important part of our testing phase because of the fact that in this particular section of testing, you really find out what users do when they make use of the platform without any guidance. And I think that we found a healthy balance between the moderated and the unmoderated testing, which we will continue in the near future in order to find out what are people doing when they are making use of the platform without having their hand held by us, and what can they actually give to us when we take them on the journey and we give them a predefined set of tasks whilst maintaining a call with them. And I think our internal testing team or internal team from Propchain had a very successful set, I would say, of conversations with the closed user group. And we are very thankful for that, for taking the time and effort to help us out there and to provide us with this feedback. Furthermore, we have on the list T3, which is a moderated variant of the testing. Again, this means that here we have guided testing. This will be happening on calls again. It's on the supervision of the test team. And here, basically the marketplace, the wallet with fictive fund deployment, so actually demo money, will be happening. Furthermore, there will be a feedback round on existing versus expected features. Now, the metrics that we're checking or tracking there, I would say, are the success rate, the net promoter scores, which we actually outdone in the previous moderated one, and the content feedback, after which we'll directly process all of this feedback again in order to get ourselves a clean cut for T4, which is an unmoderated test again, and where we are currently on track to. What happens there? As described previously, we will be having an execution of various predefined tests that are related to the T1, T2, and T3 test production. So the metrics there: success rate, content feedback, the net promoter score, the feature request, the content score, the customer satisfaction of the service team. This is basically an overarching summary of everything that we have been doing to make sure everything is super tight and functional before we head into the next stage, where we scale up the amount of users. By taking this approach, we're making sure that our tech is functioning, that our departments internally are prepared, and so we can create an optimal experience, which will also help us for example, the marketing department and so forth, when we start collecting the user-generated content based on reviews, and obviously the promotion scores, keeping them optimal, of them referring this to friends and family. So from here, a key update list of the closed user group testing. What have we been able to extract right now at this point from everything that we have been doing and that we have been seeing when it comes to the results here? First of all, T1 and T2 have been completed successfully, and all the feedback and bugs have been fixed. Very valuable, and I think already great improvements that have been made there to the product. Apart from a 1-day delay on the T2 start, we are fully on schedule. This is definitely something where we're proud of. It's always a question when launching these kind of products. Everything can go wrong basically, but so far the project management has been really tight, and we would like to give some appreciation there to our whole development team, but also our project manager, Ian Upton, which is on the ball there, keeping it all very tight and clean, I would say, for everyone to perform in an optimal environment. The preparation of the testnet environment for T3, week 47, something that is in full steam happening. The T4 is the live deployment of the desktop app. Good to have that cleared out. People thought the mobile app, but this will be the desktop app, after which we'll try to follow up as soon as possible with the mobile app, which is basically the next goal, which finalizes our initial MVP. Then the critical part, the final smart contract audit of Hacken, is required for deployment, and as of yet we do not see any issues there, so we're fully on schedule. When we move that over, we would like to show you the timeline. This is something that will bring some more clarity, I would say, and also some more visuals to the actual timeline where we're currently situated in. I will need to shift my little screen around a bit here on the screen, but let's start from left to right. So first of all, we made this launch schedule. This is something that we have been disclosing ever since week 43 or slightly prior to that, I would say. And from there, we have basically been ticking off the elements of that particular timeline. So what have we been doing here? You see the phases on the top, T1, T2, T3, and then obviously the actual product live deployment. Right now we're here, Sunday, the 13th of November. We had the smart contract audits here for 3 weeks. We had the T1 testing, the T1 rework. We had the T2 testing and the T2 rework. And I think that right now, everything that was here on the timeline has successfully been ticked off and cleared off. Right now, we're going into week 46. In week 46, we're deploying the smart contracts on the testnet, meaning we're getting into the actual testing phase of what we have been building other than the prototype of user experience and user interfaces, which is a huge moment, I would say. That gives us 1 week of internal testing, after which in week 47, T3 will start, where the closed user group is going to jump on this, after which we will push out the smart contracts for eventual rework and then re-audit. And the same goes for any rework fixes or deployment issues that will need to be covered after retrieving them back from our auditor Hacken. Which means that from here, the T4 testing and the product launch can actually take place. This also means that there we can scale and we can move from phase 2, the closed user group launch, into phase 3, where people can already start using the platform. So we're nearly there, and we're very excited to share this all with you, so you can start working with this product yourself, and where you can start creating a legacy for yourself from your desktop. From there, we're obviously trying to follow up as soon as possible with the mobile application. So far, I think that summarizes where we're currently at. It summarizes how so far the planning has been very efficient, and it also shows us how we need to progress, I would say, into the near future. Here at the right side, you can now see these phase 3 and phase 4 boxes a bit more clear. But this is essentially what we have been doing, how it's going, and where we're looking to go over the course of the next few weeks, where obviously we would like to keep you posted, where we will continue our strategy to share openly what we are doing, what's going well and what's going wrong, where we see delays and where we see advanced delivery dates. So from here, that brings me into the Ask Me Anything section. So if you have anything to ask here, then please make use of the Q&A box, and I will try to go over all of the questions that you may have. Let's see. And there is some stuff coming in here. I see that some people of the testing phase are here in the chat box. That's great to see. Thank you again for the effort that has been put in by you guys. It gives us a lot of value. When we will be able to invest, so this really depends if you're already a token holder or that you're on the wait list. This has a slight difference. Is it possible to deposit money via Ideal? Right, but is it also possible to withdraw money via Ideal? We're currently probably not going to work with Ideal because we found the SEPA Instant, which is for Dutch bank accounts, actually a nearly instant transaction with bank transfers. I think this also solves a lot of the problems that I see a lot of people from the Netherlands have with depositing and withdrawing money from and to exchanges. So next to the fact that you can obviously buy real estate to Propchain, we're also having a registered and regulated exchange module, which means that you can also use Propchain for regular exchange related services as well as fiat on and off ramp. So I think this is going to solve quite some of the problems that lately we see increased problems with when I look into our community, but also in the other channels that we run. So I hope that answers your question. Does this mean that the platform will launch in December? Correct. Actually, the platform is already launching for a smaller group of people, but it will indeed be launched in December. How about the digital real estate agent? I will be sharing more information about that in the next week, or at least we will start collecting some more information, after which we'll follow up with that particular end as well. What will be the difference between Lofty and Propchain? So Lofty, as far as I'm aware, is a platform that is actually helping out infrastructure-related matters when it comes to real estate and selling real estate. It's not a concept, as far as I'm aware, that is sourcing real estate and fractionalize it for a global investor community. When does the coin launch? So the coin, as we communicated before, will only be launching following up on a successful platform launch. So the moment we have the platform out there, we have our initial user base onboarded, we're bug free, then it makes sense for us to actually launch this token and actually create an organic demand for the token, because we're not here to just randomly shoot that to the market without any ground. And this is an important matter for us. We really want to spend our time there. We are not here to quickly launch something out in the open and then hope for the best. There is strategy behind this, and the strategy should be the substantiation that we would like to bring towards the actual use case of this particular token. The private sale investors will be able to use the platform first, so will they also be able to buy parts of properties, or is it also still a test? No, this is actually a live environment, so people will actually be able to buy parts of the properties already. There's already a prop token. Is this a problem? Actually, we have it claimed as well, so there will always be replications, more than likely. In the worst case, we can always change things around. After the launch of the Propchain platform, will tokens be available immediately, or is there a chance that prop tokens will be delayed due to market conditions? Again, we're not really looking at the market conditions, to be very honest. Our strategy around the token is also not related to the market conditions. We're not here, again, to shoot a token randomly to the market without substantiated ground and demand from the actual product that we're launching. So even probably in the worst market conditions, we will still launch the token based on the actual use case of the platform, rather than just launching a token based on market sentiment, because we're not here to extract that volume or to absorb that volume out of the market from gamblers, I would say. We're here to absorb the volume out of the market from people that actually have an interest in using the platform, and that's obviously something that we're taking care of from a marketing perspective and also from an overall management perspective of the platform, and so the token utility itself. What will be the third listing? We're not going to spoil too much. How is the deal flow? Currently, the deal flow for us is fine. This is probably one of the most interesting times that we will get over the next few years. We already see it happening. The actual deal flow is very good. You see a lot of distressed properties coming to the market that are selling on the market price, not only because of the fact that people cannot buy their mortgages anymore, but also, can pay for their mortgages anymore, but also simply because of the fact that there's not that much money in the market. People and developers are not that keen to take out the money right now with the current interest rates. But since I think a platform like this makes it possible to also work unleveraged and even to take leverage, but be able to shift around quickly because of its highly liquid nature, I would say, it gives very decent opportunity for us to pick up the pearls. And in our opinion, there will not be a much better time than the upcoming years seeing the markets crash. This means that if we can buy into these particular market behaviors, then it will bring us a lot of good and solid potential for the near future, because it gives us the ability to have a longer time horizon where these distressed opportunities, we would say, give us an additional upside. So for us, the deal flow is something that is ongoing, and I think for 2023 we have a decent pipeline lined up with perfect opportunities, I would say, to generate the returns that we are striving for. Hi Robin, the token will have 0% tax, correct? What will you do if there are high drops due to sell pressure? Is there a way to limit this? So first of all, the whole model on the platform is based on the actual value lock. So what we will be doing mostly based on the demand that is created for the actual use case on the platform, tokens will be locked and staked. If you want to unstake that in an earlier time window, you are paying a fine for that, which means that basically that incentivizes to keep it for the longer run. That also gives us opportunity to play around with the income here. Furthermore, we're here to manage stable prices, lower prices, I would say, where we try to make optimal use of the liquidity management. So we have quite an extensive strategy, not fully finished actually. We're still doing a lot of calculations based on future token utility and obviously where we start. So based on the actual platform usage that we will be seeing coming in, it will give us the data that we need in order to balance out the right amount of liquidity in the pools, I would say, when it comes to listing this token on the open market. So what will we do to limit this? First of all, liquidity management. Second of all, we're giving incentives, obviously, to lock, and we also kind of de-incentivize the selling pressure by providing on staking fines and so forth. Can we in the future sell on market conditions next to P2P selling? Not sure what you mean by that one, but if you are referring to the actual real estate, we are working on instant liquidation pools as we have been communicating before, where you obviously also sell at a discount. This can be an additional earning model for stakers as well, which is interesting. When does the educational app goes live? I like to learn more, so you can read all about that in our new Q3 report that will be published upcoming week. Worldwide focus or mostly Mexico, Dubai, Europe? I think what you're saying there is pretty much worldwide. But we're definitely, wherever the opportunities pop up and wherever we feel that we have the right network and we have the right people around us that will be able to secure opportunities like that, we are definitely open to go wherever the alpha guides us. What are the costs for using the platform or only certain fees? If so, how high are these? So in general, we have multiple fees that are being charged. We obviously have a sourcing fee, which is currently set at 4.75%. This is basically charged in the initial listing. Then we have a management fee of these properties of 10% of the gross rental income. And we have a performance fee at the end of the maturity, or at the maturity date, I would say, when it comes to realized gross appreciation on an asset. So let's say an asset has been able to get $100,000 upside, then we take a 15% performance fee of that particular property. This aligns our interest with our users. This aligns our interest on two ends. First of all, it aligns our interest on the optimization of rental income. The higher the rental income, the higher our income will be. So that means that we have the same incentive, I would say, and the same goes obviously for the exit strategy on the properties. We're here to maximize returns so we can make sure that our interests are aligned and we optimize our earnings model as well. Will staking be an instant possibility for the seed investors? So staking and incentive structures will indeed be following up pretty much straight after launch. When can we show up the earnings for shares in Propchain? This is not disclosed yet. When the time comes, you will hear that. It's not prop related. Can we directly reinvest 10 years back in the property? So you can definitely reinvest. This is obviously a feature that will stimulate your compound interest returns. And this is something that will be available on the platform to be either automized or it can be done by simply a manual investment. What will be the maximum percentage that someone can invest per property? So at this present point, from the top of my head, this is set at 10% of the total property value that can be invested from one investor. And this is obviously, especially in the beginning periods where we would like to keep our flow optimal, we would like to look at giving everyone a fair chance of being able to invest in a property. And then from there, when the deal flow is being widened and the liquidity pool or user pool in the platform is being stabilized and is growing basically on a consistent basis, that will provide us with the opportunity to probably up that amount, but we will need to make our decisions based on data there, and that's simply data that is not there yet, which means that this is something to be followed up on when we are live. And that brings me to the end of the question list, actually. I see there's one more popping in. Is it still possible from 50K onwards to use a debit card, or will this be available for a lower amount, for example, 10K? So this depends. You can use credit cards, for example. Credit cards will have a higher fee. So we would stimulate bank transfers and cryptocurrency payments. Obviously, you can make use of cryptocurrency, which you can send to your wallet, which you can then exchange into the actual payment currency on the platform, which is digital euro. And debit cards can probably be used through our checkout provider as well. But currently, we are really focused for the Dutch markets, at least, on SEPA Instant, because it's simply one of the most easy ways next to cryptocurrency payments for you all to get your money in and out in a nearly instant way. Also on the lowest fees, by the way, because credit cards are simply very expensive, and I think we have a similar structure with debit cards. Prop merge. Yes, that will be going to our testers first. I spilled some tea there. And that brings me to the end of the question list by the looks of it. As far as I can see, there's nothing popping in. That means that we have a update. I think that was a successful update. I think this was a very successful period in general. We would like to thank every single one of you for the patience. That's the first thing. This is something that takes time. It's something that we never want to rush. But left or right, we have been able to run through all of this on a quite rapid pace, although the fact that obviously we had some delays in the past. I think that the quality that we have been able to assure and to, or the level of quality that we have been able to accomplish right now is decent, it's sufficient, it does what it needs to do. Obviously, we still have some road to go and to cross, I would say. There will be obstacles, there will be interesting discoveries that we will more than likely be doing over the course of the next few weeks, especially right now when it becomes a serious part, I would say, where actual deployment is taking place. So we're looking forward to keeping you all posted, and would like to thank every single one of you for the continuous support and also the show up rate that we have been seeing lately in our live sessions, but also in our playbacks, I would say, of the content that we are creating for all of you. So thank you once more. I hope this was an informative session for you all. I hope this cleared up where we're currently at, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next update AMA, which will be in 2 weeks' time.